this God loving, and I mean this in the best way. The dude was like shell shocked. I could tell.
Yes. Yeah.
And what you guys had just gone through, and what because
Dude, he just
not
watched
just the
his
deer,
first buck.
yeah, and not
He's
just the deer, but going through the stress of the track, the deer just blowing up out of the woods, being that close to a live deer multiple times, let alone his deer that he's trying to pursue, barreling through the woods. Like, was it nighttime at that point, right? It was dark. Welcome back, everybody, to this week's episode of the Texas Public Podcast. Thanksgiving has come and gone. Hope you guys had a happy Thanksgiving, spending time with friends and family, and you're just like us, fat and happy with deer season too, because it is prime time right now. There's a lot of big deer that's hit the ground this week, so we've got some cool stories, some cool tracks to kind of catch you guys up on, and man, just in the last 24 hours. It's been a lot of fun. Had some good hunts, and there's some nasty weather coming in too. So we're gonna cover some cool stuff. And as always, I'm sitting here with my man Rudy. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? How you doing, brother?
I'm hanging. I'm doing all right. I'm fixing to get kicked out of my own
Shit, dude, you
house
just keep killing everything.
here in about an hour. I'm gonna get kicked out of my house. So she's throwing some kind
Fine.
of little family, ladies' Christmas thing. So I got to take the kids and go to the movies, and then go stay the night with dad. So
Well, there you go. Sounds like a good time either way.
yeah, it'll be.
I mean, she let you hunt. But
I
speaking of, you just had a really good hunt.
did have a really good hunt. One of the best hunts I've ever had, honestly, without killing something. I mean, as far as getting to watch deer do deer things, it was awesome. I think it was also an indication of kind of the conditions we're seeing right now. I mean, today is November 29th, so we're knocking on the door of December, right? And
Yep.
we've already seen some real hot and heavy conditions kind of come and go, and then things slow up a little bit. But a lot of folks get in the woods this week, but the Bucks are starting to lay down some sign again. They're starting to kind of revisit the scrapes. The other night I had like four different bucks on one scrape. Haven't hardly seen that all year. So things are kind of have been ramping back up a little bit. Kind of the second half, and some really good deer have been taken. And I went out, got up at 1:30 in the morning, headed out to a different national forest, a long way from home, and a place that I bow hunted. I don't know what was that, about a week ago now, I guess. And I kind of went in blind. I
You
bow
said, don't
hunted,
get mad, Rudy, and sends a picture of a bow. And I'm like, what are you doing? This
and so I
guy.
saw a small buck. Saw a small buck. He came right in, 10 yards, hit the creek crossing. One of the few creek crossings I can ever really say I've hunted and seen something on. But anyway, got down, scouted like 150 yards one way, and I was like, yeah, this is where I need to get. So I made it back out there, and I mean, long story short, the perfect conditions. I mean, it was 39 degrees. Wind was slight east or out of the east. I approached from the west, got set up. Hadn't set up in there before. I mean, I didn't. I kind of dropped a pin for. I was like, I need to be like right here, but I should have picked a tree, but I didn't. I was like, I just need to be right here because I took the gun this time and saw a small buck right off the rip first thing in the morning. Cruise by me, and then later that morning I saw really nice buck that would have probably ended my season sort of altogether. He also would have checked the box as that national forest list as far as killing a buck and everything.
Another set of woods for another mature buck.
Yeah, man.
Well, yeah.
It was on the bucket list, right? And he came in, thrashed a tree, came into like 10 yards. I mean, I
That
wouldn't
would
even
have been three
say blind.
national forests in 1 year. That'd have been sick, dude.
Yeah, yeah. And ultimately I let him go because he had completely snapped off his right main beam. I mean, right at the brow tine.
Which
Really
hopefully you
good
can
deer.
attach a picture so you can see that
Yeah,
he had
well,
got a picture of this deer in a completely different area than he hunted the night
yeah.
before. And she's all bragging about it to us in our little group chat between the guys.
Man,
And
we'll put a little video clip in here too, just a little teaser, because that hunt video is going to be cool. I mean, I videoed him make a rub, thrash this tree, and it looked like he was pissed that he didn't have his other half of his rack. He's wanting to wear that thing out. But it was awesome, man. I got to watch it, and I mean, he's probably 16, maybe 17 inches wide. If his other side looks like his side, I mean, not a real heavy horn,
dang,
great frame looking deer, and I mean, I had the gun up. I mean, I was like decision time. I was because I wanted to get an up close look. He had a little sticker on his brow tine too, so I think he had five on that side. And he had, and I was just like, I just decided against it because the season probably,
You did the right thing.
and yeah, I
There's
was trying
probably a
to get it
bigger
off my
buck in
man.
there.
Please tell me I did a good thing.
Well, I think, when we're in moments like that and the decision has to be fast and you don't make that decision, you did it for the right reason. You didn't feel right in your gut. So I'm sure you'll get rewarded. The patience pays off on public land, and you have to let go of little deer to get big deer. And I mean, that was a pretty nice
Yeah.
deer, but I'm pretty sure there's more nice when something bigger broke that sucker off.
Oh
That's all
yeah.
I got to say.
I mean, and if he would have been like a really old deer or something, it probably wouldn't have mattered. But he probably looked like I don't know, he's at least a decent 3 year old. And like he's
Yeah.
got
Well,
some
he
good
looked a lot
ahead
older
of
in
him.
that picture, but he is rutted up. So,
Yeah. I mean, he's got a good, another year or two ahead of him. So I didn't want to take that from him.
you
Um,
know where he'll be next year.
I hope so. You never know.
Well,
but but it was really cool encounter. Got some really cool footage, really cool slow mo video of him like jumping away because he did catch my wind after he crossed that trail. But yeah, it was an awesome hunt,
and
man. Oh yeah, it was an awesome hunt. So we'll have that one out on the channel pretty soon. Hopefully.
where do you think that really puts us right now in the rut phase, in your opinion? I haven't been in the woods since uh I don't know. It's been a while.
Yeah, and I mean, I think this is. I don't know if you want to call it that secondary rut, but I guess most people might refer to it. I mean, most people think of like late
Yeah.
season or later December when it comes to that, but I just think this is kind of the second peak of still kind of the first rut. You kind of had that we had some hard chasing like right at the end of October, like real hard. I mean, it was so I couldn't call it pre-rut because it was like hard fast chasing. And it kind of continued into early November. Then we saw that typical lull, you know, for about 7 or 10 days, and then it kind of ramps back up around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And the Bucks
I
are
don't know if
still. I
that
mean,
it ramps up. I think that it's just there's a lot more people in the woods and those bucks are still cruising. Like, I think the big bucks are moving on their feet to find does right now
yeah,
because I'm seeing older bucks being shot. Uh, for sure in a second rut phase because I feel like the end of October and the first week of November, those 2 weeks right there were
it
just
was.
full throttle.
It wasn't.
Um,
There was nothing trickle about that. I mean, when it was on, it was
it
on.
was on. Yeah. And then now we've just kind of seen a little bit of a slowdown. And I think that, like I said, the big bucks are cruising now. They're not sitting in their little area waiting on those to
Yeah,
come to them. They're going out actively looking for deer
yeah,
because a lot of them are being called in. A lot of them are caught slipping late morning, cruising bedding areas or from one area to another.
yeah.
Uh,
I think
Most of
this
them
is.
between like 8:30 and 10:30. Like that's pretty
Yep.
big. Like that's cruising hours. That's
Yeah.
not normal big buck moving time.
I saw that bucket. Was it 9:40 or so?
See,
Yeah.
that's
I mean, but yeah, I think to your point, I think some of the bigger bucks, this is the time frame where they're venturing out of further than they have all year yet. And like I said, the bucks are, and then that's what you're going to see new bucks on scrapes because they're kind of hitting their. I mean, I didn't see any deer on scrapes, even in the areas I'm real familiar with for the last few
I
weeks,
just
maybe
took
at all.
Dave into a spot and there was all these scrapes that were not hit. They hadn't been hit in a while. And
Hmm.
like we found one that was like super massive and like it still hadn't been hit since the rain.
Yep.
So but we just had like a few deer to go through there today. Oh, that's
Yep.
good. Late morning.
So it's going to be really good. I think, but we're about to come into some nasty wet weather these next 4 or 5 days. So that's going to kind of squash some opportunities for some people. Of course, it's kind of back to work week next week, but I think, let's see, what's today? Friday?
Saturday.
Saturday already.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Black Friday was
next weekend is
yesterday.
going to be really good. But things change every 3 or 4 days. So hopefully there's going to still be some good hunting to be had because by the time next week rolls around, we'll be in December And usually by the time you get into December, if you ain't caught up with them yet, it's about to start getting hard, you know.
Yeah, I think that we'll see about another good week, maybe, of good pushing, and maybe two, and then after that, it's all not gonna say downhill. It's just I'm gonna be honest with you, man. They're gonna be hitting hard on food source, and it's gonna be last light, just like it is in bow season. Like
Yeah.
when they're coming out at last light, first thing in the morning, like it's not going to be a oh he was cruising. I mean, you're going to see some pushing because
Yeah.
what happens in the later part of the year, you know, we talk about this all the time, is those deer are those little young, you know, yearling does that were born late. This is their first cycle. So they're the ones that have their cycle at the end in January, late December.
Yeah.
That's the ones that are being pushed. So you will see some pushing going on. Typically, most of your mature deer are bred by now.
Yeah. But also, you're going to have to move around to find the deer because one thing I've noticed already just in the
Looking for
couple
the
of last
food.
last couple of times I've been out, we had that real good cold snap. Like right when I was in Kansas, that cold snap hit here, and ever since then, every time I go to the woods, that leaf off is getting the woods are getting more
More
open
and
by the
more.
day. And
Yep.
those deer are going to be shifting to those different, seasonal cover. They're not going to be in those your typical areas no more. So some of your areas are going to go really dead. You may have to get down and move around. And they're going to be pockety. When you find them, you'll find, a couple of doe groups. You'll find a bunch of deer when it comes to like December time. But they're going to start tucking up in them holes, and they're going to be in those different areas. What that not so much in the open. They're going to be in that thick cover where you got areas where with that they don't have as heavy a leaf off conditions and where the food sources are a little bit more prime still and everything else is a little barren and that's when it really it just that's why it just feels so tough because this is a December is a time of year where you come around where you spend some sits in the woods and may not see nothing. You just got
Right.
to move around. You gotta follow the deer, let them tell you what they're doing and
But you
stay
also might see that one boy finding a wind in a doe that coming in late. You never know.
yeah, yeah,
Never know.
yeah. And on
I don't
top
know.
of
I
that,
love the suspense, but I also like really cold weather because it does make them move. And we're about to get to where Texas gets that really cold weather.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it sure
um,
makes it a lot more pleasant to get out and hunt, that's for sure. It was
I don't know, man. I
really.
don't like freezing my butt off up there, but it's a lot better than sweating my butt off, I guess, either way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like either mosquitoes and sweaty or like I'm frozen because I'm not used to 40 degrees.
Yeah. And on top of that, I
Um,
mean, you've been going on a lot of tracks. You've had some really
yeah.
unique tracks. I mean, you've ended up in lakes. Of course, you always end up in several creek systems every year, it seems like. But I mean, Deuce recovered a deer out in a lake that sunk, and then he bloated and rose up like 3 days later. Like crazy stuff's going on. But Deuce got sick recently, so kind of
Yeah.
fill everybody in on what happened with that and how he's doing.
So like the last seven, I think 7 or 8, I can't remember really. I probably should. I have a journal and I haven't done it all this year, but he has been all alive bucks, one doe, and alive, and he's just been an exotic thrown in the mix somewhere in there. I ain't counted that, but yeah, that one was dead. That was actually a DOA. There was a couple DOAs before all the live ones in a row. Um, he ended up about a week ago on Saturday. We went out, got a call from a gentleman. It was late. It was already like 8 o'clock, and he's like, "Man," or maybe 7:45, something like that. He's like, he shot it, and he goes, he knows he's hurt. It's right behind the shoulder. They said they had good blood. Da, 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 da. And I get there. Anyways, I'm like, okay. And I told him, I said, man, you already pushed it like 400 or 500 yards. I said, if it was shot behind the shoulder and the lungs, I was like, and it was shot good, he wouldn't have made it that far, you know.
Hmm.
And the deer, everything about the deer's reaction and what he did, and I'm like, good shot deer don't do that, you know. I thought, which I was right, it was low in bag, if not brisket. But when I got there, when I saw the puddle of blood, I said, man, this can be one or two things. I said, I think that he's low liver, where the line is,
Mm-hmm.
gray and white hair meat on the belly. Like right there is where I thought, but liver mostly, maybe low at the bottom of it. And then, or it could have been like a complete back whack because he stood in an area and there was just a big puddle of blood. I got to tell you this track to get to here in a minute
Gotcha.
because it ties into what happened. So, anyways, there was a big puddle of blood. It had some bubbles in it. They're like, that's lung blood. And I'm like, no, that's typically where he stood for a long time. And he was hurting, obviously, because he ran off into the brush and he stood there and the blood's dripping down and it's creating bubbles as it's pulling,
Mm-hmm.
as it's dripping down as he's standing. So just imagine taking, I use this reference a lot, just to, quart of motor oil and stick your arm out and slow pour it and watch it drip down and create bubbles as it's dripping on top of each other, little air bubbles. Same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then it just went out and it went turned into just drops, and then they jumped the deer, and then that's when they backed out and called me, and they were not sure if they wanted to bring a dog out. I mean, look, man, it's not like we're in greatest times in the economy still. A lot of things are going on in the world, so people, first thing they want to ask me is, Rudy, what do you charge? I typically have a flat rate of what I charge, the travel, deer leases, private property, etc. It usually just covers my expenses, and like my vet bill was like $1,200, just or something like that, recently. And then just imagine, like, for what I charge, that doesn't cover that at all, and it just, people don't understand, but anyways, I just told him, like, look, man, I'll do you a solid, let's just come out and check it out and let's just see, and then you can tip me. And he was like, okay. I did have a set base price, and then he can tip me after if everything worked out.
Yeah.
Luckily, the whole family chipped in and made it worth a great while. But we get out there, jump the deer. He was like 250 ish or more from. I try to underplay because if you oversay that, people are like, oh, there's no way. But a 250 ish from where they last jumped him is where he bedded up again. Dude sounded off. We get in there. He runs another, like, when he hears us coming, he runs like another 700 yards, and he runs onto this into the national forest. And this person's house actually backs up to the forest,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was kind of cool. We ran him in there, and my gun was off. First of all, right before I went out of town on a South Texas hunt or a Central Texas hunt, I accidentally brought the wrong ammo and I thought my gun was shooting low. And so I went trying to adjust my sight and found out when I looked, I'm like, oh man, I'm shooting the wrong ammo. So I switched back to the other ammo, readjusted my sight back because I remember what I did. And I went back out and shot the gun just recently, but I didn't have my gun for like three of these tracks, right? And these were live deer. So like I'm having to be like, hey, do y'all have a gun? Can you make sure you have it? In case
Yeah.
this deer's alive, blah, blah, blah. Well, deer's alive. This guy has a pistol, and Deuce finally gets him down or gets him bait up. We get walked up, and the guy's like, "I don't want to shoot around your dog." And I'm like, "Cool, give me my gun." So I wasn't gonna let him do it, anyways. And he gives me the gun. It's a pistol, like I said, and I had to
Mm-hmm.
shoot the deer. He hits the ground. He's laying there, and I mean, we're thinking he's like taking his last breaths, dying, whatnot. And I'm like, man, it sure is. And we're sitting there for a minute. Deuce is still baying and barking, and I was like, okay. So I go back over there and I put two more in a pop, and point blank range. I mean, and the deer, he takes the rounds, and then I mean, he is a rutted up buck, big buck, and dude circled around from his backside to like to his front side, from my right to left. And when he did, like the buck had already like laid his head down. Like we all thought he was done.
Mm-hmm.
And out of nowhere, man, he just saw Duece, I guess, while his head was laid down, and he lunged forward. And when I'm saying hammered him at full throttle, the kid that shot the deer, he was like 12, and his little brother was like maybe 9 or 8, and they both said, "I thought we were going to be carrying a dead dog out tonight." And are you ready?
nobody's fault. Technical difficulties, so we'll blame that one on ERCOT or somebody. But yeah, the lights,
We're
lights.
gonna blame it on the Wi firing up the hair blow dryer. We're out here trying to do a podcast. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, so if we have to use the Zoom audio right there, which is actually pretty good, I've been actually kind of surprised lately. But anyway, yeah.
Okay,
Proceed
so
where you left off.
basically, the deer was shot twice again. So now at this point, he was shot originally by the hunter once, me three times, and so that's four bullets in this deer, and three of them are pretty much point blank right behind the shoulder, and he's laying flat down, dude's circling around, and when a bay, the definition to a houndsman or anybody that works dogs, a bay term is where a dog is circling or cornering the target animal. So like a hog dogger, people who run hog dogs, they will bay a pig. They'll run it down, they'll
Mhm.
circle it, and they basically bark and hold it there until the hunter gets there and either a dispatches it or another dog, which is known as a catch dog, will go in there and pull the pig down and then let the hunter catch it and finish it off or tie it up and sell it in the market or whatnot. I don't know. They're a little different. But for me, it's for the dog to go in, bay the deer, meaning bark and keep him there and hold him there until I can get there and dispatch him with however means necessary. Typically,
Mhm.
that just means shooting him with my 44 Rossi, and it's a pretty adequate gun for the situation. So anybody who's ever seen my videos, that's what I'm using. It's a 44 mag. It's a Rossi. So long story short, Duece circles around right to left, and that deer went from like looking like it was taking its last breath, head down, and almost laying its head sideways, but it was still kind of flat on the ground, to just completely hammer and Duece. I mean, full throttle, and Duece didn't even have time to get away. Like there was no way. He was that close to the deer too, and I'm
Yeah.
that close to the deer. Like if this deer had turned and lunged at me, I'd have got hit. But it hammered him and Deuce let out. This happens for like 5-10 seconds, and he lets out a pretty big yelp. And the poor little kid, and this is going on. He's like, "Man, I thought we were gonna be carrying out a dead dog. Forget that deer." And man, that meant so much to me. Like it almost brought me to tears right there on the spot. So I was like, "Yeah, man." I said, "Yeah, little buddy." I said, "He means a lot to me too, man. I wouldn't know what to do and just try to get him out of the woods and hopefully to a vet and get him fixed up."
Mhm.
Um, but they firsthand got to witness, be careful when walking up to a deer. A lot of lessons were learned on that one alone. So Deuce gets hit. We get the deer. He died. Great. Everybody gets a picture. We move on. And while this was all going down, though, when he got hit, it kind of, you could tell it frustrated him because he was banging a little bit harder, and then he grabbed a couple sticks and like, I only seen him do this a few times, so it's not like he does it every track or anything, but he was frustrated, and typically he just bites the deer, but he took those sticks and he shredded the sticks. And I think when he was shredding the stick, he had ingested a piece of stick that was about 3.5 to 4 inches long and about an inch and a half thick wide, you know.
Mhm.
And I didn't know that at the time. I just thought he was chewing the stick. And so he got hit by the deer, he chewed the stick, and then we go on another track the next day and recover an axis deer. Not really an axis, it was a whitetail that looked like an axis with his giant spike.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, that was cool. I got a video up on that. You can see that on my social media as well. And I believe it's shared on Team Texas Wild's page as well, so you can find it there. Um, but after that, that night, then it was the next day. I went on a Monday. So Monday, this is 3 days later. Monday, I go on a track, and it's at a gravel pit, and the deer's not dead. It was shot in the back with a bow. We knew it was a bad shot before we came. This was just verification that the deer wasn't wounded bad enough that it would have been dead or stopped, etc. We went home, and I took a nap. When I woke up, the time I woke up from my nap, the dog was like very stiff, rigid, like he couldn't move. He looked sick. His head was wobbly. He was just struggling. I could tell that it was not normal. Like when I said, "Hey, you ready to go find a deer?" and he didn't jump up, like I knew something was wrong. Like I got scared immediately.
Okay.
So Penny works for a vet clinic, and uh, she's a vet assistant, and she does all these things. She takes vitals. Well, she was realizing that he was struggling breathing, and was breathing kind of funny. His heart rate was okay, but he was breathing kind of funny. And so I was like, man, I just need him to make it to the morning. Of course, it was a restless night. And then we wake up, and in the morning, of course, I checked him a couple times during the night, but in the morning, I woke up and he had actually threw up a little bit and on the floor, and there was just a little. That's where I saw the stick, and I was like, "Oh man!" And one of the things that kind of stood out to me was when I made him get up off the couch to go outside and go potty, and I noticed that he was hunched up, like in his back hip area, similar to what a liver or gut shot deer would do, just
Mm-hmm.
hunched up. I could just tell there was discomfort back there, and of course, I pushed on his tummy, and he never yelped or whined or anything like there was something wrong. But yeah, obviously there was something wrong. Anyway, so we get him to the vet, and I was like, I carried him out to the car. I didn't even make him walk, and I laid him in the car, put him on a blanket. She gets him over there, and I was like, I swear, if this dog is better by the time he gets to that vet, I'm going to be so upset. And I was like, because I really think it's that stick, or there's something else in there lodged, and he can't potty because I haven't seen him poop. And I was like, something's not right. He hadn't passed his bowel movement.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things if you watch your dogs, like I love my dogs, they're my babies, so I pay a lot of attention to all my dogs and what they're eating, what they're doing, how they're playing, if they're drinking, because if they get sick you need to know those things, so you're constantly watching them like toddlers, because they are toddlers, they get into crap all the time. I gotta watch what they're chewing in the yard all the time if I let them out, or if they're chasing the cat next door or something crazy, they get me in trouble. I'm always getting calls, get your dogs, they're crazy. Yeah. So, but anyway, so Deuce pretty much got better. I mean, all it's, I get, we get him over there. We spend a lot of money to figure out what's wrong. There's nothing wrong. They gave him some medicine. He had a little bit of off blood levels, but he was running around. By the end of the day, he was running around playing. He came home, took a nap, and the next day he was ready to roll out. He thought he was going. I'm like, nope, you were told to give a week. Well,
Yeah.
this is a tough dog, man. It'd been about 2 or 3 days since he ate the stick, and it had been about 2 days after. And then I knew Thanksgiving was going to get busy. This is a very busy week for hunters to be in the woods, and it's a time that he's needed. And I told her, I said, yeah, they may have suggested a week, but this dog, as soon as he shows me he can go out there and move and be fine and move quick, I'm going to let him go to work. He can work at
Yeah.
his own pace. And if I noticed anything about him, that I would just go ahead and be like, hey, I'm just going to take my dog home and get somebody else out here.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
got a call.
the scary part about that was like you kind of worried he had like his stomach flipped or he had some kind of infection in his intestines. Like a lot of things were kind of I've
Yeah, he had intestinal inflammation
yeah.
from the
I mean,
stick lodging in there,
I've seen dogs that
and abdominal inflammation from the deer hitting him. So both of those things combined
yeah.
are what caused the reactions, and obviously not being able to poop, and that makes anybody. I mean, that's going to make anybody sick. If you can't process and
Yeah.
digest food properly, it will mess you up quick.
Yeah. And I mean, and a lot of us have dogs, pets for a different, these days and these vets, it's almost worse than taking your own kids to the doctor and like every little thing that like if anything outside of the normal is a problem. I got three dogs myself, and well, they need this. You might as well throw a $500 price tag on it. Let alone, I've seen, we've had dogs in the past that had to have surgery because they ate a couple pieces of water hose, and they're like, well, you got to do surgery to get it out, and $3,000.
Yeah,
That wasn't mine. That was
exactly.
my brother's dog a long time ago. But yeah, it's just the unknown was scary, and of course, Deuce, not just that, but like that's small stuff, but just the fear of something being either permanently or terminally wrong was very scary.
Yeah, I 100% understand, because a lot of the people that have tracking dogs who've been doing this a really long time, they always talk about, it's never really what you think's going to get them. It's always some crazy something. It's never what happened. Like, look at Letty, her leg imploded while she was out chasing Frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
He would have, and now she can never chase it. She can, but not safe. Like she would not have been able to hang with them deer that we chased this past couple weeks. These rutted up bucks.
Yeah.
They're scary. They're different. They're a different deer than early
Yeah.
season for sure. Um, but I man, I was terrified. I was worried. I was stressed. I had to go to training for work in Galveston. And all I could think about is when am I going to get that phone call? What is wrong with my baby? Is he going to be okay?
Yeah.
A lot of some of these guys, they don't look at these dogs like that. They're just tools in the shed and they bring them out when it's time to use them. And I'm not. This is my boy, like he rides. He's sitting right here on the couch next to me,
Yeah.
enjoying his
Yeah.
life right now, sleeping like a king, because he is the king. He does a lot for me, and he's done a lot for a lot of people, and he's made
Yeah.
miracles happen. And it's not about me at that point. He's something special, and I'm not just saying that because he's my dog, but because I've been in this community long enough, the tracking community enough to know what a special dog can do and what they are. And then not every dog has it. Not every dog can be a rock star, right?
Yeah.
So they're one out of every thousand, or let's say one out of every 500,000. You can go through a lot of puppies to get a good one. I've got a couple dogs started up that are good. Are they going to be as good as him? I don't know. I need him
Yeah.
to be better. That's always the goal, is to get the next dog to be better than the last one.
Right.
But anyways, so
So yeah, dude.
we get
But
a call.
yeah, fortunately everything is good.
Yeah, he makes
Deuce
it
makes a
through.
recovery. He's kind of chilling, but Thanksgiving rolls around. He's doing good, but you're kind of being cautious. But then you kind of get a call, right?
I did. I got a call, and I actually was able to pass one call off to another guy Thanksgiving morning, or no, on Wednesday, or whatever day it was before Thanksgiving. Yeah, Wednesday or something. So, and I was like, man, I really wanted to go too. And that deer was found. He was found alive and bagged and killed. And I was like, dang, but it's okay. He got found. That's all that matters. And then, so Thanksgiving comes and I get the call. I was like, oh man, but it's at 11:30, and my family dinner is supposed to be at 1. So
11:30 in the morning on Thanksgiving Day.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, I just had to shoot him straight. I was like, I gotta go to my family Thanksgiving dinner. Like, I really want to come help you right now. And I couldn't get anybody else to pick up, text back, call back. I was like, okay. And I said, if you're willing to wait, man. And I got to give the kid, credit because he did everything right. He was recommended to me by somebody that follows me on social media. I appreciate it, Tom. Thank you very much. I know you follow us here, so I appreciate you watching and tuning in and knowing to what to do, because he shot the deer. The deer actually went down. He high shoulder shot the deer. I'm gonna give pictures so you can see in the podcast,
Yeah.
and you'll see that it's a high shoulder shot deer, and the deer hit the ground and basically flopped around for a little bit, but he said a whole hour went by and the deer would pick his head up every now and then and lay it back down. And so he says, I'm gonna get down and I'm gonna go get it, because he couldn't get a shot. And that's why I say he did everything right. He tried to get a shot from the tree, he didn't have a shot, so he got down and he circled around. When he got about 40 yards, the deer jumps up and then it runs off and he's trying to get the gun on it. Poor kid's got glasses, so I can only imagine, with you breathing hard and it's your first buck, it's his first buck.
I mean,
It's yeah, it's just, and it's a hammer of a
yeah,
buck,
he's a
son. I'm
young guy.
telling you.
So you're calling
He's
him kid,
young,
right? I
he's
mean,
a young
how
man.
old is he? Early 20s?
Yeah, I think he's probably 20, 21,
Yeah,
like
twenty
if
twenty
that.
one.
Yeah.
First hasn't
Uh,
shot a buck in the national forest, and he's thrown into this chaos.
Never shot one at all, ever. Like, he shot one doe 3 years ago, 4 years ago. And he's been hunting public land ever since and never shot anything else. And what's cool is he's let a lot of like spikes go, and he goes, no, if I'm gonna kill a spike, he's like Seth. He's like, I need to kill the biggest, maturest spike in the national forest. He's waiting for Paw Spike, like an old ancient buck,
Uh,
with big mass on him. He's like a freaking unicorn that's 28 inches long. Anyways, so I said, yeah, man, there are some big old bucks out there that are spikes. But anyways, So he gets this shot. He shoots the deer, jumps up, it runs off. He tries to get a shot again. It runs off. He goes tracking it. They're following blood. They jump it. It runs off.
Mm.
So yeah, so it's lining up. He says, but man, he was struggling and crashing, and I said, yeah, dude, but he's high shoulder shot, and I had to shoot my man real, like the realistic odds, like he found his feet and he's not coming back. We gotta consider that, like we're not gonna catch this deer. And you ask any tracker, they're gonna tell you a high shoulder shot, back whack, that is low odds. A lot
Hmm.
higher possibility. Your odds go from like a 3% recovery odds with a bow to like a 10% recovery with a rifle,
Hmm.
depending on where you hit it. Depending on where you hit it, in the shoulder or upper back,
Yeah.
and what round, what caliber, etc. So there's a lot of things that play into, is this deer going to get got? This deer was shot with a 30-06.
Okay.
I think, or no, it was a 270,
Okay.
270. And it was shot with core locks, I want to say.
Okay.
So it had a good round, thank God, that mushroom. So it caused a little bit of damage when it hit him. So he was
Mm.
hurting, he was sore. The dog jumped him 200 and Deuce tore out. When I say we hit that trail, it was about a quarter mile walk in and about a 200-yard walk on a main road, and then about 200 yard off that main road into a little slough. And then boom, Deuce picks up, rolls out, and we get to this. I'm like, the way he's working, I'm like, man, he's trailing him, but he's just not really fast. I don't know what's going on right now. And I mean, it only been about 5 hours since he shot the deer, maybe a little bit longer, 8, whatever. And all of a sudden, I didn't hear the dog bark. I heard something moving, like rustling in the brush. Not, it sounded like maybe 2 or 3 pigs would, moving or something, or maybe a couple dogs, in there. And then dude starts like growling, and he's like letting off a little, like not a bark, not because typically when it's cool, because when he'll jump a deer, he'll do like a howl,
Kind of bellow out.
and you're like, yeah, and you're like a hound almost. And
Yeah.
then whenever he's got him bayed, it's a it's a chop.
Yeah.
So that's what we call a chop bark. So, and that's him holding the deer there. He was just kind of like yipping and growling, and so I'll go walking in this thick stuff. It's up to my chest. It's got thorns everywhere. I got thorns all over my legs right now. I wish I could show you. It's bad. And I'm getting through this stuff. I'm wading through it like I'm wading through mud. I'm dragging myself. And I noticed there's this big over giant oak tree. It's fall over, right? It fell over. And all this stuff's growing over it and around it. And I'm like, man, I'm gonna get up on there and I'm gonna get the spotlight and I'm gonna shine down in here and see what that was. Cause I thought I heard it leave, like
Hmm.
going away. I get up there and Deuce is growling, like just still consistently, like just doing that, like, like just kind of short huffs. And I was like, man, I don't know. And I'm sitting there looking, and I could kind of smell the buck. And I'm like, well, he was in here. I was like, Deuce, he's not in here, boy. Where's he at? He left. He rolled out. I heard him leave. Go find him. I'm yelling at him like, go find the deer. Where's he at? And he's just kind of growling and huffing still. And I'm standing on this tree. So, of course, the first thing I do is when I climb up, shine the light at my feet and make sure there's nothing on the other side of the log bedded up. You track enough deer, they
Hmm.
lay up against trees and tuck themselves up against embankments and things like that. So I'm looking and I didn't see him at my feet. And I took about 3 steps to my left and I'm looking over the trees and I'm looking around. I'm shining the spotlight and I don't see him. I don't see nothing. I don't hear nothing. We're talking like the three of us. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to understand why my dog is doing what he's doing and why he's not rolling out and why he keeps circling us in about a 30-yard perimeter. And I take 1 step to my left and I mean, oh, boom, this freaking deer jumps out from underneath my feet and I fell backwards and I freaked the flip out and I think I crapped myself a little bit. And Penny's like, oh my God. And I'm like, oh my God, my gun. And like everything happens so fast. This thing jumps up and he's entangled. He was up underneath us, underneath our feet in this tree, jammed up in this log. He had to have been. I don't know how he got that rack in there. I don't know how he even got out of this stuff because when he exploded, it was so thick it pulled him back down, and he hit the ground, and then he sprung out again. And my red dot wasn't on, my safety wasn't off, and it happened so fast. When I'm telling you, it happened that fast, it exploded. I flew
Hmm.
back. Penny was like, "Jump!" I know she jumped. She jumped so hard she hit the record and didn't get it on video. I'm dead serious. And
Yeah.
yeah, so we didn't get the deer springing out below my feet because it scared the crap out of her. She accidentally hit record again, and the deer gets up, he runs off. Okay, dog chases him down exactly 500 yards. We get up there, 500 yards, great. We get him, the dogs bait him up, get the spotlight on him. I'm like, okay, well, we need to shoot him because he's running okay, not great. He's running okay. But he's definitely able to gain ground on us. But he's definitely a coyote would have caught him and killed him that night and maybe ate all the meat.
Yeah.
We were basically ensuring the dude was going to get not only the antlers but his meat that night. He broke bay 4 times. We were unable to get close there a couple of times. Last time he tore out about 800 yards. Total of 2 miles from start to finish, and it was about a 130-inch 10 point, if not bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
Intense.
He might push like mid 130s for sure. Huge,
Yeah,
man. Huge buck.
I it reminded me of your deer, just skinnier and a little bit wider. Just didn't have the
Yeah.
mass.
Little frame,
Just
like a
big
little more of
bodied.
a, a little more of a like a good frame of a whitetail, like, not
Yeah,
so tight for sure. But I
he
but
reminded me of a good piney woods buck.
yeah.
You know,
So you
and
called
rutted out,
me.
he was big.
Yeah.
Like just big bodied. Like it reminded me of just a. I never call anybody when I get a track, and for me to call, I'm like, bro, you need to see this deer. Like I
Yeah.
called you, I was like, you got to
So
see this
Rudy
buck.
so Rudy calls me and or actually, I mean, you FaceTime me.
Yeah,
I just got out of the shower and I was like, I heard my phone. I kind of walked over and looked and I was like, well, I'll call him back in a minute. So like getting dressed, going to the kitchen, kind of taking my time, a few minutes to come back or whatever. And you send me a text message that's like, dude, you need to call me as soon as you get this. And I was like, oh, something's up now. Like it's, when Rudy, when it's on this level, something's going down. So I immediately
yeah.
called. It's kind of all dark in the room, and like you come on live, and all I see is like fumbling around. Then I see this buck, and I see this kid sitting behind this buck with like he looked like he just climbed out of a pool. Like his hair is like strung down. It's like eyebrow length in the front, but it looks like he's soaking wet. He's got glasses that are fogged up. You can't really see his eyes, and he's just stunned. And you're talking to me, and you're like, dude, look at this buck. We just got it. We got him. And you're like, man, he shot. And you're kind of giving me the whole backstory, like, dude, this is his first buck, and this and that. And the kid's just like holding the deer, and I'm like,
In
kind of
shock, in
talking to
awe.
him. Yeah, indirectly. I'm like, oh, dude, congratulations. I'm like, man, look at this butt. And we're kind of going up. And you and I talked about this later, like just today. And it's funny because I brought it up and you kind of confirmed it because y'all have experienced it live. But even through the phone, this God love him. And I mean this in the best way. The dude was like shell shocked. I could tell.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
what you guys had just gone through and because
Dude, he just
not
watched
just the
his
deer.
first buck.
Yeah, and not just the deer, but going through the stress of the track, the deer just blowing up out of the woods, being that close to a live deer multiple times, let alone his deer that he's trying to pursue, barreling through the woods. Like it was at nighttime at that point, right? It was dark. I know it
Oh
was dark.
yeah,
Oh,
and I move so quick through that brush, son. Like
well, that's what I
it's
mean.
hard to
So
keep up. It's hard to keep up, and that's why he was. Someone made a comment and was like, "Why does it look like you're all pristine and clean and don't have any sweat, and that dude looks like he went through war?" And I'm like, "Because he did go through war, bro.
yeah,
He
I
earned that
mean,
deer. He had to, And they're just not used to it like I am, and tearing through the woods like that. I don't
really,
enjoy it. I don't want to, but I mean, you learn how to
yeah.
do it. You
But
know.
I could see. I could see like the distraughtness and like the exhaustion on his face. Like because he wasn't really responding to me when I was kind of like talking to him through the phone. I was like, dude, that is freaking awesome, man. You don't know what you did. And he's just kind of like, he's just kind of there and he's kind of blank. And I'm like,
Yes.
dude, this kid is like, he's
Straight
full up.
shock.
Like, he don't know where he's at, bro.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't wait until I get that call or that text or call and he's like, I I I can't believe it. Like I was just so in shock because he did say that. He said it like Penny called him out. She goes, "Man, I ain't gonna lie. Like I've seen a lot of reactions, but you've got a look of like you're in straight shock." And then he
Yes.
goes, "Yes, ma'am, I am." That's exactly how he said it. He goes, "Yes, ma'am, I am." He goes, "I cannot believe this." You got to understand. So like when the dog is baying a deer and it's shoulder shot, and you got to remember, like I'm seeing this deer run away, so I'm watching where the bullet is, where the wound exit and entry are already, and how he's moving. Like, could I have called it that night and the deer maybe lived and fought the coyotes off? Maybe,
Yeah.
probably about a 35% chance of that, right? Um, but ultimately, if this dog can catch it, and it's just one dog, it's not even a pack of wild dogs,
Mm-hmm.
he would have never stood a chance, So I think a lot of people too like don't understand that like we're not out there just chasing barely wounded deer that would have lived if we gave them another chance for another hunter to shoot. Because it's no, dude, it's not like that. Like if they're barely wounded, the dog ain't even gonna chase him. Like he has no interest in anything that he knows he can't get.
Yeah.
Right. So and I've learned that, and your dog learns that. The more he trails, the more it tracks, and the more experience it gets. It's just that's what makes him different, man. He's just smart. But dude, like him getting that deer, and there was a lot of emotions. I was frustrated because we couldn't get a light on him in order for me to get the shot off. Um, I was jumping in like, "Hey, brother, you need to keep up. I can't be leaving you off in this woods." And like, like I'm trying to, and I'm frustrated with the kiddo, man, and he didn't do nothing wrong,
Yeah.
by any means. And I was just taking it out on the wrong way, on the wrong people. And even though it may have not have been that bad, I just know that it could have been better. And I know whenever we got that deer and we're walking up, I just remember giving him a hug, man, because I know it's hey, I'm just as worked up as he is,
Yeah.
and it's not even my deer, so I know if I'm worked up and I'm watching this and I'm processing it, I'm like, dude, this is this kid's first deer. Like,
Unreal.
him to see it, and then for me to say, hey, dude, if we don't stop him here, we're not chasing him anymore. 5 days is
So
enough.
you didn't
Like,
even mention that. I mean, y'all were down to the point where you got to a point where you had to tell him, "Hey, if we don't catch up with him and we don't get him down with coming up here because y'all, the situation that y'all are getting yourselves into, it was like, hey, this is going to be now or never, and if he goes out beyond this, we're probably going to have to call it." And then he said, "Yes, sir." Right?
that's all he
But
could say.
that's just that just adds to the whole,
A
just
moment. And
the
so you're
intensity of
walking
the
up to
situation.
the first buck you've ever shot, and you can't believe it's down. And so like then so somebody turn around and hug that you don't even know, hug you and tell you, man, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, I am so sorry, like apologizing for being frustrated with him when he's already been, it's like kicking a man while he's down.
Yeah.
It's just
I mean, you
not
said y'all,
good, and
said y'all had some frustrations over like,
well,
you
dude, like his flashlight was
lights and
dying. He
spotlights
knew
and
five
batteries.
hours before I got there. Yeah, he was like, man, I messed up. I didn't even charge. I didn't get back. I'm like, bro, you knew 5 hours ago we were coming. Like it's getting
Yeah.
dark. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing here? And then I was like, oh, why am I mad at him? I had two spotlights that were pretty much dead, and my headlamp that was the only thing keeping me going. It's
Yeah.
got about a 6 hour, 100% go, like bright,
Yeah. Yeah.
using the highest setting. But it's that peak light. I love that thing. But anyway, so we get the deer, and we're taking those pictures, and Penny goes, "You look like you're in shock," and he's like, "I am." He goes, he missed his whole Thanksgiving with his whole family. Like told
Hmm.
him I'm gonna be late to no, we're catching it. Like we're chasing it. I'll call you back. And I'm like, dude, we got out at 7:30, something like that. 8 o'clock. It's a 3 hour chase, bro, 2 miles,
Yeah.
trying to catch up. And you know why it takes so long is you're not trying to run up to the deer, but you're trying to cut ground. And then when you get close, you're trying to be quiet and sneak into the deer.
Yeah.
So, so you're not pushing the bay more and more and more and more. Because once that deer knows you're coming, man, they just go until they can't no more. So
Golly, man. I'm telling you, I've and it's funny that after I asked you that, I'm like, man, was this kid like kind of shocked and you told me the whole thing, like Penny even mentioned it to him, like you guys were like you saw the same thing I was seeing, even live in person. So I know, which is it kind of makes it that much more cool. But I
dude,
never
I love
seen
it.
somebody like
I
so
love it.
like
Man,
he just
people
looked
ask
like
me
he
why I
wasn't
do it.
there. You looked in his
Why
eyes
would you
and
take
like he,
time to go and track someone else's shit shot deer and take time away from your hunting and blah blah blah. And I'm like, man, y'all don't understand. Like,
mm-hmm,
like my old boss, man, you know what? I get it, dude. You got a business and it's your job to make sure your business is thriving with the top sales team to keep it going. I'm that passionate about this. I
mm-hmm.
want to see I want to see sorry, I was getting a call. Let's see, come back. Baby, come back. There we go. Could you still see me or did it
Yeah,
go black?
yeah, you're good.
Oh, okay. So, uh what was I saying? Brain fart.
Oh, you're talking about your old boss, how like
Just like, yeah, I get,
you're
running your
passionate
business,
about
having
this
the
as
best
he
sales
was.
team, like, but that's like taking what I love away from me. Like, I get
Yeah,
this company is your life, and this is my life. Like, I don't see my life any other way without tracking dogs and hunting and this,
and
what
the
we do
people
now. I mean,
and
my
the
life
people.
is this, it's look at my walls, look at, if anybody has ever been to my house and you look at my pictures or you know me from social media, like this is all I do. This is what I live for.
Yeah,
And I'm not gonna stop, and I am gonna do anything I can to keep feeling what I feel when I see these people get their deer or the emotions, because that brings me back to the feeling of getting my first deer almost every time.
yeah,
Gets me super emotional. It gets me involved, and man, I make some awesome memories, awesome connections. Got to go on a crazy hunt this year just from learning from the tracking community and being nice and giving back to it, and just I believe in helping people for the right reasons. And it's not about getting rich. Yes, I make money doing this. Yes, I'm not going to do it for free. So I can't say that it's not all about the money, but you guys got to understand, Duce just racked up a $1,200-$1,400 vet bill.
yeah. Well, I think
And
people
that was just to
understand. I
run
mean,
tests and
they
a
get it.
visit, man.
They understand the value. I mean, there's value
You
there.
know,
It's the best of both worlds for you. I mean, it's combining what you love to do with just trying to make sure your dog is taken care of and you've got everything you need to be able to go again on the next
man, and to
call.
see the community reach
Yeah.
out to me on the post and just offer the help and,
Yeah.
privately message me. And man, it just showed me the impact that he's made on a lot of people's lives. And I'm proud of that, man.
Yeah.
That's not something that you just are given. That's earned. That dog has earned that. So
Yeah,
that's a dog. I mean,
I
dogs are
know, right?
incredible, dude. They're so incredible. They do some amazing things, from being a couch potato, your love bug, your comfort when you're at
Yeah.
home, to making miracles happen out in the woods, and cadaver dogs. And man, think about 9/11. Out of all the dogs that went out there and find people in that rubble, like there's so many hero dogs out there that deserve a bigger title, but
Oh
he's
yeah.
my hero,
Yeah.
so that's
Oh,
the
he's
way
my
I think
hero
about
too, believe me.
it. Well,
Still.
that's another thing, like, man, that whole track with you and him and Letty, and like, gosh, the emotion behind that track, man. I like going back and watching that video every now and then, because
Yeah.
man, that was hard. That was hard. That was
Yeah.
hard.
That
It
was
was
that was just a big that was a big turning point for me. I don't know why. I don't know. It was just something about that. I had so much invested in that time and that opportunity. And what we're referring to is the hometown buck. That was the video from a few years ago. We won't get into it too much, but it was just a special memory for winded up what being both of us. And yeah, that's why Deuce is still my hero. Y'all will be.
Well, man, Dave's seen him do some things. Reagan, man, my whole team I've tracked
Yeah,
for,
yeah,
including myself.
yeah,
Penny, I just tracked an axis for Penny. Penny shot a stud axis, right? So
yeah.
we'll
You know,
cover that on another one. We gotta talk about that another time. That was an awesome little hunt too,
yeah, I
but
know. But
you
you
know,
your
uh,
back to your point, the we love to do this because that's what we love to do, and we love the memories, we love the adventure, we love the the struggle, unfortunately. But now we love it for different reasons. We love it because of the people we get to meet, like we have met. It's become, the people and the memories and that have been put in our lives are just as important as, those European mounts behind you on the wall there. It's like now we're doing it for all different reasons. Like your heart can't get a whole lot more full these days, and that's kind of why we keep going and we'll continue to keep going. And, it's not just about us anymore. It's about everybody who has given us a chance, and anybody who's either been watching or listening, and plus all the relationships that have been built off because of it, and
and how many of these
some of the
tracks
best
I've
people.
gotten this year from our people, and hey, I know you
Yeah.
from here, and I know you got that tray, or hey, Rudy, you got that tracking dog. I'm way over here on the other side of the world. Yeah, man, I think I got a dog for you over there. Hold on.
Yeah.
And it's so cool, man, because as a matter of fact, that track yesterday that I wasn't able to make it to, uh guy follows us on here. He just tagged us in the Sam Houston National
That's right.
Forest page, social media. And I told him, I'm sorry, man, no, I can't make it, but let me make a phone call or two. And I got him a guy lined up, and he found that deer in 5 minutes.
Yeah. That's
And
pretty cool.
he called me and talked to me and was so happy and thankful. And I didn't ask him to go make a post and tag. I mean, he's truly that thankful, and that we helped, that we were willing to find, because he didn't know his fingers. He didn't know what to do, where to start. He just knows of us, and
Yeah.
that's cool that he knows us. And I love to be that guy that, hey, that's the guy to call. That's great. But hey, I can't make them all.
Yeah, I know.
End of the day. But it makes me so excited to see this taking off the way it is, and helping our people. Once again, it's from giving advice to killing a deer. How many people have reached out about thank you for that?
Yeah.
And some of the cool stories we got from that, and I can't wait till we start our own listener success. And I think that's starting to become a thing because we're seeing it. And
Yeah, we're cataloging stories for postseason, man. We've been talking about it. I'm saving pictures and posts, that we're gonna follow up with some folks and have some fun when we do that after the season too, for sure.
yep.
But
So
well, listen, I've got to run. I've got to get my about 8 minutes past. My wife's got to kick me out before all these people start showing up. So I think that's a good way to end it. Talking about how much we appreciate everybody that's listening and watching. I think that's a good point. That's a good point. And we're getting caught up, so I'm gonna work on this tonight, and we're gonna get this one
I
out.
got a lot of hunts
And
to edit. I don't know what you're talking about caught up.
yeah, no, I mean, well, we're getting there. We've got a whole lot more stories to tell. So, and then also this camera that I'm staring into is about to
The
uh
crow.
he's about to quit too. So,
Well,
so
y'all just make sure if you shoot a deer and you can't find it, when in doubt, back out. You know who to call.
yep, 100%. And you can find us on the website. You can find us through Messenger or anything like that. So I'm looking into the camera and it's telling me I better rush. So appreciate you guys listening and watching the live version. I'm putting a lot of hunt clips and stuff, and we'll throw some pictures and stuff in there now as well. So thanks for listening. You can also check it out on the YouTube video version live, as well as Apple Podcast, Spotify, the whole 9 yards. So appreciate you guys checking out the podcast, and we will catch you on the next one.